Okay, this will be the third message of today that I am recording pertaining to all the messes that's out there that has been generated by the elder politicians that has now been in power, give or take, for 20, 25, 30, 35 years. And don't think for a second that they're not out there, because they are. And why the American people has continued to vote them in is still bewildering to me. Simply because somebody took their eye off the ball, I would say. But you notice how this politician to your right continues to keep talking about whose fault this is. Okay? I want you to listen to this, and then after we get through listening to this, I want to go back and discuss it pertaining to what was said. So please listen. And this is in conjunction of my two other videos that I made today. One was primarily about the fires out west and the immigrants. The other one was about the fires across the ocean and the immigrants. Now this one is primarily just about the immigrants that's coming over the Rio Grande by the swarms. And whenever I say by the swarms, I literally mean by the swarms. Listen to this very carefully, because this could very well project our future within the next 2 to 5 years from now, forcefully, one way or the other, rather not we go to the far left or the far right in regards to this.
Whistleblower told us that this was a violation of federal law, a federal law that he was sworn to uphold, that he had spent his entire career upholding, and he could not be a party to deliberately violating federal law. He was told, well, this order's coming from the higher-ups. He says, fine, you do it. I'm not going to break the law. And then he came to us.
So CBP and ICE are obviously overwhelmed by the sheer number of people who are coming over the border. There aren't enough judges. There aren't enough facilities. So what are they supposed to do?
Well, they're releasing them into the country without any kind of
But
vetting.
if you have nowhere to put them and not enough agents to apprehend them, then what do you do?
Yeah.
This is a failure up onto the governments, regardless whether it be the government of Mexico or the government of Honduras or the government of whatever in South America. This is all in conjunction to the failure of these governments towards not being able to facilitate their own people in regards towards it being appealing and attractive enough that their own citizens want to remain in their own countries. Whenever you have this type of a migration, as this gentleman's fixing to say in a minute, it's becoming a siege that Donald Trump talked about. And this siege is the very thing that basically took down the Roman Empire whenever the Roman Empire was built. And if we don't watch, the exact same thing's going to happen to us. Because we are not strong enough to sustain the people that we already have in this country, much less taking on, give or take, about 2 million every year that's forcefully bringing themselves over here. And that ain't counting the people that's coming from Canada. That ain't counting the people that's coming through Alaska, through Canada, that's coming from Russia. That ain't counting the people that's coming from the islands or Cuba, that's somehow or another managing or slipping through and getting over here. That ain't counting the people that's coming in some of the ports on the East Coast, either from New Zealand or Ireland or Africa. You hear what I'm saying? This is a siege that we're under right now, and if we don't watch, this will be the death of America. I hate to say that in that terminology, but if we don't watch, we're going to be overrun by all these burdens to the point that there ain't no way for us to be able to manage or maintenance them.
Well, you should be returning them south of the border. Instead, we're admitting them into the country without even giving them a court date. They're given a phone number to call when they get wherever that we're paying for them to go. And these numbers are astronomical. In July, 200,000 people illegally crossed our border. That's roughly the population of Salt Lake City. We're on track right now to see 2 million encounters before the end of the year. 2 million. Think about that, Kennedy. That's the population of Alaska, Vermont, and Wyoming combined in a single year. And the youth and family units and many individuals are being systematically released into our country. In fact, and by the way, this is just the tip of the iceberg. Gallup estimates that 42 million people in Latin America and the Caribbean also intend to come. Now, no civilization has ever survived this magnitude of a mass migration. That's ultimately what brought down the Roman Empire.
Now, he's talking about a major country thousands of years ago that was a predominant country above and beyond all other countries. In addition to me talking about on the past two other videos, how that out west was going to cause a migration of people coming from out west over here because of their water supply and all the fires, because of all the droughts. If people does not want to pay attention to this in the magnitude that it needs to be paid attention in, then whatever befallens upon to the American people's lives in the next 2 to 5 years from now, they basically got it coming to them because they ignorantly, intentionally turned their heads, hoping that it was going to be out of sight, out of mind, kicking the can down the road, and now it's upon us in one form or the other, either in a pandemic form or a financial form, an economical form. All the people that's right here at the brink of being kicked out of their apartments or kicked out of their homes because they hadn't made adequate payments in the past 2 or 3 months. I think they've stopped some of it, but they ain't stopped all of it. It's problems.
Sandra, well, that was okay. So let's discuss this a little bit, because you have a lot of people and you have a lot of children. The vice president said she has been very busy working on the root causes. And, she went in front of the cameras and said, don't come. Don't come. And clearly no one is listening to her. So, it's like, yes, it's really bad to let 7,000 COVID positive people go into McAllen, Texas, without treating them. NGOs are supposed to isolate them so they don't infect community members, because apparently that's a really big thing, is to be masked and vaccinated, and none of that is happening. But does anyone have a plan, even your Republican counterparts, to stop the wave of kids who are coming up with coyotes?
We had secured the border at the end of the Trump administration. The Remain in Mexico policy, the border wall, and ICE deporting court-ordered deportations, as well as taking into custody criminal aliens and getting them the hell out of this country once they're released from prison, rather than releasing them back into our communities. That had effectively taken control of the border. And the numbers speak for themselves. Election week 2020, 100 family units illegally crossed our border. By inauguration week, that number had swelled to 1,000. By the end of March, it was 14,000, and that's about where it's remained since. The root cause is that on day one, Joe Biden repealed the Remain in Mexico policy, canceled the border wall and ordered no further construction on it, ordered ICE not to engage in deportations, and ordered ICE not to take into custody many types of felons being released from our prisons. So they go back into our communities. That's the root cause of this crisis, and you can trace it from January 20th, 2021.
And now they are giving some of the thousands of people who are coming over the border the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, and also Democrat voter registration, which is exciting. It's like a gift package. Thank you so much, Congressman McClintock.
My pleasure, Kennedy. Thanks for having me.
For sure. All right. Coming up, Andrew Cuomo's legal issues are about to get a lot more serious. And now His dumb CNN anchor brother, Chris, has a bunch of problems of his own. Rightly so. That with the panel next.
It seems like every demon in hell has suddenly come out of its resting place towards merging into society, towards trying to bring that much more of a hardship upon to the living. And it has gotten so badly that a lot of the living no longer want to live. And if they think that it's bad now, hang around for a few more years and it's only going to intensify. We're going to have to do something radical to be able to save our own hides over here in America. And you know, 9/11 was very short-lived. 9/11 was maybe lived for a couple years. And then after that, out of sight, out of mind, people forgot about it. That was an attack upon to the American people's lives, upon to our freedom and upon to our democracy. Just like all these hacks that keep coming in. Well, do you not think that all these illegal migrants that's coming here is not another attack? Sure it is. It's one attack after another attack after another attack. If we're not being attacked by drugs, we're being attacked by guns. If we're not being attacked by guns, we're being attacked by aliens. If we're not being attacked by aliens, we're being attacked by fires and floods, or hurricanes, or tornadoes, or et cetera, et cetera. It's one attack after another that is occurring to humanity right now that basically totally fulfills the scriptures towards it saying, whenever you shall see these things start to occur, woe be unto the inhabitants upon to the earth. Every morning whenever I wake up and I turn the TV on and I see something radical, totally out of proportion, I keep saying to myself, well, it can't get no worse. It can't get no worse. I've quit saying that to myself. I no longer say it can't get no worse. Now I wake up in the morning and I say, what's next? What's next? What incredible, impossible, unusual, catastrophic event are we all going to have to witness and wake up to on a day-to-day level? All these things, every one of these things that you've just got through witnessing on these past 3 videos that I've just made, every one of them is in the format of the opposite of peace and utopia. And I'm just not talking about having a peace of mind. I'm talking about, as the scripture talks about, that there will be a mighty outpouring of God's Holy Spirit, and that we will see a revival escalate into a revolution, and that we ultimately will see peace before the opening of the 2nd seal. To this day, this is 2021, as many videos as I put out there on Facebook and YouTube, to this day, still have absolutely nobody that has either called me, written me, or contacted me, or come to my facility here and said, Juby, we support you. We're in behind you. 100%. What do you need? Instead, I get these people that's supposed to be men of God that want to ridicule me, that want to demonize me, that want to throw stones at me. They want to make me feel bad, like I have violated them in some sort of way. I get all this negativity that's thrown up at me instead of getting support. That's the reason why whenever I make these videos, a lot of times I'll say, well, they're getting what they deserve. Because they didn't formigate. They didn't come together. They didn't unify. I've been trying to rally the people now since 1989. 30-something years that this ministry has fallen void upon the deaf ears. As I watch my country be ripped apart, as I watch children suffering, as I watch drug-induced overdose, as I watch the gun violence intensify, as I watch the older section, which was the hippie era, still to this day refusing to admit to their wrongs and coming up to me and saying, Juby, is there anything that we can do to help you to proceed in your avenues towards pursuing in peace? And until they do, hello, bad luck. Ruby spare, oh agony on me, is what's around the corner. Just like the Walmart slogan, coming near a neighborhood near you. Thanks again for listening. Good luck to all of us. Good luck to all of us as we go forth. And as we end our message, as we always end it in love, wishing everybody the best. God bless you and God bless America. And shalom.